Hi guys, welcome back to the garden. All right, we're on the driveway again. Still trying to get it done, right? Today is the next day. I brought out the wheelbarrow. I'm going to remix and use some of the soil in those containers so that we can plant some of the roses. I figure out the way to clear the drive is to actually plant the plants. So once we get them planted, yeah, um, the more we plant, the less containers will be scattered everywhere. Look at the, let's see if I can turn you. Right there. Do you see that? That's the coleus on the front porch, looking really cute. Right? I use the same container every year. Every year, every time. I'm not one for change. There are very few things in my life that I accept change with, except my garden. I change a lot of things in my garden. One, simply because I have to, and two, because I want to try something new. All right? Yes, baby. Mom, you want to say hi? All right, come on over. My son wants to say hi to you guys. He's going to say good morning. Let me turn him around.
Hello guys, my name is Abraham.
Oh, you couldn't. That was so fast. They didn't see you. All right, guys. We are ready. So we're going to be planting the coral bell rose. Again, remember, this is the one that we picked up from Menards. It's full sun fragrance. It's zone 6 through 9. Grand flora. Right? What attracted me to it, as mentioned, the picture, right? Look how beautiful that looks. I'm hoping that the bloom size is big. It doesn't have mention here of how large the blooms would be. It has a 41 plus petal count, but I'm not seeing a bloom size. Luscious cup blooms with a mm, strong lavender scent delights the garden. Vigorous habit and upright arching form with good disease resistant. Petal count is 41 plus. All right. Not sure what the certification is on it, but all right. So we're going to plant it as we would any rose. I need to keep this tag because I'm very good at forgetting things these days. All right. So my goal here is to plant her and not have and cover her to the depth that she is right now in the container, so they have everything covered. I'm going to do that. This is a lady who will have to overwinter in our garage. So we're going to make sure that we have good coverage from now. All right, let's see how she comes out the container. We're not expecting anything grand or big because guess what? Like we said, it's a bag rose from a store. Ooh, all right, I see some roots. I see some roots. See some nice white roots going on down there. I like that. I love roots.
It over there.
Oh, okay. That was my son. All the soil is going to fall apart. Give me just a second to just steady it there. All right, and she's in. Let's get the soil around her as quickly as I can. She's already started growing in this environment. So I always like to keep that root ball as sound as possible. I think it really helps to reduce the whole thing of transplant shock. We will aim for center, but again, as always, you know me. Wow, she used all of my soil again. All right, let's see if we can get her in here covered up. That was so easy. Wasn't that so easy? Man, there's no science to it, guys. I think um, the most important thing is to plant in really good soil, nice rich organic matter for your roses, Since she's grown in a container, cover that bud union if it is a grafted rose. You know, I should have picked up two of her. Not sure how big. It's said 3 feet, 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So let's see how much she spreads in this container. Just want to make sure I don't cover any of her new growth. All right. And she is in. It was that easy. Took me more time preparing to do the planting than it actually did to do the planting. All right. So now for my container planted roses, I like to top dress with cow manure, which I do not have at the moment. But I never let that stop me, right? Still get the planting done. Once I get the cow manure, I'll come back in and we will top dress. And since she is a potted rose, you know what? Oh, I don't have any food. But since she is a potted rose, I would fertilize her immediately, give her a good jump start, right? Because we'd have no idea what sort of nutrients were in that container mix that she was in. And it is the growing season, and she has started putting on growth, so she'll definitely benefit from a little bit of love, right? All right, that was easy. That was too easy. Let's do another one. That was too fast. Let's do one more. So that is Cathedral Bells, and I need to put up this tag so that I'll remember her. All right, quick pause, and then we'll do number two. All right, I do have some bug damage on this one, so I want to spray him. You've seen his leaves, right? Let me see. I have never planted one of these from these containers. It feels very light. There's hardly any soil in there, so it's going to be interesting pulling it out to see what's in there. But this is the John F. Kennedy rose. Kurt picked this one up from Home Depot. They say it's a grade A rose, which it was, right? Look at all of these canes. Nice big healthy 1, 2, 3, 4 healthy canes. All of this right here, that's new growth, so that's cool. Let me see. Very thorny little fellow, which means that they're going to smell good. I've learned that the thornier the rose, the better it smells. Stop laughing, people. It's true. There is I have grown a few roses and I'm kind of testing it. All right, this grows 3 to 4 feet tall. It has a very strong fragrance. Full sun, 6 hours direct sun. All right, all right. Let's give it a grow, right? What do you think? Yep. All right, now I have never, as I said, I've never opened any of these. This is my first time buying a rose in this sort of a container, so I have no idea how it works. So we're going to figure it out together here. Let me mix the soil to make sure that I'm ready with his soil. All right, guys, we're going to figure this one out together. All right. Again, you learn from my mistakes. Let me just get some of this soil out here, mixed in here. Prepare his hole really good. And hopefully I have enough soil to cover him in if he does need a little bit more. Sorry about the noise. All right, he's in the corner. So let me see if I can bring you over. Let me bring you over a bit so that you can, you'll be right at the planting hole with me. Just switching sides there for just a second. All right, so we're with each other, right? Okay, perfect. All right. Oh, wow. It's amazing how much weight water adds. When I was moving this container yesterday, it was a bit lighter because it was drier, I think. All right. Wilted, she needs water. You see the wilted buds going to flower. Looks like it's not going to be a very bushy grower in terms of a rose. Let me make sure we have each other. There's my view. I'm going to be planting in that container right there. All right, guys. All right, so here we go. We are going to plant the John F. Kennedy rose. Again, as mentioned. All right, my first time pulling these things apart. So forgive all the blunders. They said they should be spaced a minimum of 24 inches apart. Okay. Oh, look. And we're going to plant to cover the bud union. So it is a grafted rose. Set the rose. Yeah. So we're going to make sure that we cover our bud union, right? Okay, let's see. No, baby. They didn't give me instructions as to how to open this, but we're going to figure this little part out. It's just basically a lid on a container, right? Should come right off, I'm thinking. Okay, which it is. It's coming right up. It's coming right up, guys. All right. So I'm basically just lifting the lid off. Okay, I can do that. Okay, okay. Something happened. It's happening, people. It's just a matter of taking off the lid. Okay. That was simple. All right, so she's definitely grafted, right? You're seeing her graft right here. Because we're in colder areas, they're recommending that we cover the bud union, which would be the bud union of the rose, which would be right here where the graft meets the rose that's attached to it. So basically, so we started that over there because my kids are outside with me. So there are going to be lots of screams and interruptions. So it was really easy just pulling off the lid, right? And now it's just a matter of taking the rose out. Okay. Let me check the height before I even get that far. As mentioned, I'm going to try to bury my bud union, so I'm going to take it a little bit lower. Because I'm gardening here in zone 7A. And I think this rose is hardly down to 6. But I find that a little protection during the winter is always a good thing. All right, just trying to carry him down a bit more. Wow, this container is really long. So it's prompting me to go even lower with this. I may have to add some earthworm castings to the bottom just to make sure that there's some love down there for him because I'm going really low. All right. I'm going to add me a little earthworm castings down here because I had to go really low with this one, which I never expected. Not that one little handful of cow manure makes a world of difference, but it does ensure that he's greeting a nice, healthy, rich environment. All right, let's try the height again. Still think he's a little bit higher than he needs to be. Gosh, this guy's difficult to plant, man. Let's get him out of the container and see if his height will better experience with his height. Hold on. No? Really? You don't want to come out? I thought you'd be so ready to get out of here. Oh wow. Wow. This rose is so well rooted. I am wowed. Coming in close so you can see roots. I love to show you roots. But this is the most well rooted rose I've ever come across that I've ever purchased. Look at all those roots. That's amazing, right? That's seriously good roots right there. That's nice. All right. He's dry too, which is why you notice those buds wilted. But wow, those are good roots. Good roots. All right. Let's put those good roots here in. But boy, this guy, his root ball is just way too long though. His root ball is troubling me. He's way too tall. It's a very tall root ball. That's how he could put on all that growth in that container. I was wondering how he could be growing like that. That's why, because he had these really exquisite roots going on there. All right, that is about as low, as high, as low, as deep as I can get him at the moment. Let me cover him in. Wow. Those are impressive roots, right? Impressive. Wow. Very impressive, Mr. Kennedy. Hope you are as impressive as your roots were that you just branch out. I did not even play with them. I don't mess with roots, root balls when I plant, not usually, especially with roses. I don't want to break anything. Because the more you damage their roots, all of those feeder roots are attached to their new growth. So if I damage those roots, I'd end up losing maybe the buds. So it's good that I didn't have to damage them. All right, that's another quick rose planted. Wow, that was easy. He's such a beautiful little thing. Mercy. The root ball, I was actually really very impressed. That was an impressive root ball. I may have to look at picking up one or two more of their roses just to grow them on to see. And that was a really impressive root ball. Really impressive. All right. I'm going to spray him down with some neem oil to help with whatever bug damage is going on here. And we're going to water this one in very well. I need to top up the soil. Give me just a second to get him topped up. Oh man. All right, guys, so they are watered in. That was too quick. I was really impressed with the root ball of the John F. Kennedy rose. That was a brilliant root ball. And I put it in without disturbing that root ball. With roses, especially when they're blooming like this, right? You don't want to trouble those roots because if you disturb those feeder roots, you're going to be disturbing the newer growth and they will wilt on you like crazy, right? So we got that root ball in there whole. I'm thinking that he should be fine with it. You're going to see him a little toppled right now because he was that way before we planted him. As you saw, the root ball was way too dry. All right. Let's see. Oh, and he was growing in that dry medium. Isn't that interesting? That's interesting. This might end up being a really sturdy, hardy little rose because that root ball was really dry. Yeah. So interesting stuff. All right. We have some bug damage here on the leaves. I'll go ahead and spray some neem oil. But in terms of black spot, powdery mildew, none of that. It's a healthy rose, healthy specimen. This is the Cathedral bells. All right. This is what she's looking like. Basically, almost a bare root rose cut back for the spring. Looking forward to see her grow. And I'll definitely give you updates on this one. I'll give you updates on them both, right? Okay. All right.